October 17th, 2010, and I'd like to introduce you to Paul Thomas Garcia. Sir, please give me your full name. Give me your name.
Okay, my name is Paul Garcia. They call me Cutie because when I was born, they had no hospital, and they had midwives. And my grandmother looked at me and she said, "Oh, Cootie, 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 Cootie." So she made Cutie, so that name stuck with me. So a lot of people know me by Cutie.
When were you born?
I was born in Decoto in 1923.
What day?
No hospital, midwife at home.
What's the month and day? What month and day were you born?
January 15, 1923.
How old are you?
I'm 87 years old.
All right. Tell me about your parents. What were their names?
My parents was named, the name is Dionisio Garcia. My mother was named Pauline Garcia. My father and mother both came from Spain, the same village. And from there they went to Hawaii. They worked on a sugar plantation for a few years, and then from there they ended up in Oakland, and from Oakland ended up in Decoto. My grandfather bought a whole block, and everybody built little shacks there. And in those days we had no plumbing, just a regular, no gas, just electric and water. That's all we had. We had an outside toilet, and my father, they get filled up, my father moved it, and that's what it is.
What did he move?
My father was a construction worker.
No, what did your father move when things got filled? What do you mean?
He moved it, dig another hole, cover that hole up. And
you just told us that your father and mother had a house in Decoto for
right.
a whole block.
My grandfather bought a whole block, and my father built a house in that block with all the relatives.
How many brothers and sisters?
There was Eloyo and my father, and only two brothers. And then the ladies, there was Aunt Felipa and Lucy. Sheila.
Okay. How many brothers and sisters do you have?
I have myself. I got two more brothers. Myself is three, and two sisters.
What were your brothers' names?
My brother Manuel is the oldest one. He's Manuel Garcia. My brother was a baby. He's the only one who was born in the hospital. His name is Alexandra Garcia. My name is Paul Garcia. Then my sister Flora was Florence Garcia, and then Mary was Mary Garcia.
What was it like growing up with all your relatives in Decoto?
Huh?
What was it like growing up with all your relatives in Decoto?
Living relatives?
No, what was it? Was it fun? Did you guys have a lot of fun growing up?
We all grew up together, all the cousins grew up together. My father used to kill pigs every year, hogs, and they all get together, have a little fiesta.
How did he kill the pig?
Well, the pig was pretty hard to kill. My father wanted to shoot him, so he put him in a cage. I get a scissors hammer and I hit him in the head, knock him out.
You did?
I did.
Who?
I knocked him out, then my father came with a knife. Shove the knife, and the blood comes out, my mother's going like this with the blood. So my mother could make blood sausage.
Was it good?
Oh, blood sausage was good. She put that onion and the garlic, and it was real good. But if you like blood sausage, you could fry it or you could cook it.
Were your parents strict growing up? Were they tough?
My father wasn't that strict with me. I used to go out, and come home late. And
What's late? 9 o'clock? 10 o'clock? How late?
7, 1, 2, 3 in the morning. My mother, she had a signal and I could tell. When I walk in, I said, "Mom, you're home." I say, "Yeah." She knows. She, my mother.
Was your mother strict?
My mother was a little strict, my mother. She always had a belt, and we used to hide the belt. To give
What would she do with the belt?
Whip us. If there's something wrong, here's the belt. So we hid it, she couldn't find it.
What did your dad do for work?
My dad was a construction worker. He worked in Martin Saul, Leslie Saul. He worked California Nursery. He worked construction. He helped Macy's. He helped build that and roads and stuff. My dad was a construction worker.
Was he a hard worker?
My father was a hard worker. He was not really tall. He was about 5'6" maybe. But he weighed about 165 pounds. He was strong, like that was. Almost strong person.
And your mother, what did she do?
My mother was a cannery worker. She worked at the cannery. She picked tomato, peas. As she did. My father was a fruit contractor. He contracted tomato, peas, prunes. Every year we go down to Santa Clara Valley, visit a tent, stay there about 3 months. Everybody picked prunes.
Who's everybody? Your whole family?
My whole family. Then my lawyer used to go. My aunt went. And then Paniaros went. There were 4 or 5 families. And my father was a contractor to pick all the prunes. You pick prunes a minute to daylight, pick prunes with a knife. On your knees, tough.
How do prunes grow? Off a tree? What do you mean pick prunes?
Tree, to shake them, knife them down, and we pick them in the ground. Prunes. And then they take them in, wash them, and they dry them in sulfur. And then they wash them all out, and they're ready to sell.
What about your grandparents? What do you remember about them?
Well, my grandfather, he was just a construction worker. And my aunt, I don't remember my grandmother working. And then Minnie were there. She was kind of a housekeeper. And Minnie.
She was the daughter?
She got into trouble and had one daughter named Carrie.
What do you mean got in trouble? What do you mean got in trouble?
Minnie.
She got in trouble?
She got in trouble with some guy, and I guess...
Oh, she got pregnant.
Pregnant. I said a baby daughter, which is Carrie.
What about your father? What did he used to do? Didn't they used to call him when the aunts would get in trouble? Did your father used to go help his sisters?
My father helped all the family. All the brothers and sisters, they had trouble. They call my dad. My father was Father Anthony. My aunt...
Father Anthony?
Father Anthony. Next to us, see the parents were there. My uncle John, he was mean. One night he got drunk, about 3-4 barrels of wine, and there was wine down on the floor all over the place. He was a young guy, mean he was, and he'd get drunk, but he never missed a day for work. But he was mean. He was mean to my aunt. Beat her up. My father, and then she said, Dionisio, me está matando. And the words, in Spanish, and Mary said, oh, come, my aunt. And Andrew said, he's killing me, come and save me.
The sister would call the brother.
And then my Aunt Lucy is behind us. And Ray, he never worked. He don't believe in working. He never wanted a decent job. But when it comes to Saturday nights, he put on a little time and go out to the Puerto Rico and start dancing.
Why did your dad move the house in Decoto from all his brothers and sisters?
We lived there. My father had the house here, my aunt here, another one in the back, another one there. Always fighting. My father got tired of that. I mean, I can't handle this. So he went down to 4th Street, about 2 blocks, dug a hole for the basement, moved the house, set the house down, and that time he added a bathroom and a shower and a bathtub and a bathroom and another bedroom. Then we had 3 bedrooms.
How old were you about when that happened?
When that happened, I was about, I broke my leg when I was 13, 14.
How did you break your leg?
I was a mechanic working on my father's old Dodge. I'm on a running board working on the car. My brother man was driving and it was going pop, 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 pop. And there comes a Model A pickup right through the stop sign, caught me, broke my leg. The bone shot right out.
How long were you in the hospital?
11 months and a week. And then from there they took me to San Jose Hospital. Manuel Flea and Perry, they knew me. And I was there 1 or 2 days. My father couldn't afford it. So then from there we went to Highland Hospital, Highland Hospital, Fairmont Hospital, and Davao Farm, where you recuperate. And I was in the hospital all these years from my leg. And then what happened worse, I'm ready to get out. I'm in Fairmont Hospital with crutches. The bathroom was wet, a slip, fell and broke my hip.
Oh, man.
Put me back again in the hospital.
You were there a total of 11 months in the hospital?
11 months in a 11 months in a week, almost a year.
How often did your parents go see you?
Every Sunday. They showed at Davao Farm. And that's Livermore, the Wayne Winery. The West Sanitarium used to be a place called Davao Farm, where something happens to you, instead of keeping you in the hospital, you stay there for a while, and when you get ready, they send you back for operation or whatever. And I was there back and forth. I must have going that one about 10, 11 times, back and forth.
And you were what, 13 or 14?
I was about 14. I was in the 7th grade, I think.
So your father, did he move the house before your accident or after?
After the accident.
You moved to a new house.
So I got hurt. My father moved the house.
And why did he move?
My father moved because he couldn't get along with the family. He had enough, he said. So he moved down to where the house is now.
So how did he move it? What did he do?
He had a guy named Gonzalez. He's the guy who had a skating ring. And they were there.
Bella Vista?
No, not Valverde, right there where used to be Russell's Market.
Okay.
Well, I used to live. That was a chicken coop from up in the hill. It brought it down and made a skin ring out of it.
And he moved your father's house?
Huh?
Who
He's
moved?
the guy who moved my father's house. Gonzalez.
What did his brothers and sisters think of that?
They were small like I was.
No, what did your father's brothers and sisters think about him moving?
Nothing. My father, when my father moved to Hayward, my sisters, my aunts and uncles thought that was terrible. He abandoned us. He lived in Decoto going to Hayward. So
When did he move to Hayward? How old were you?
I was out of sort. I was about 18, 19.
Were you still living at home?
Huh?
Were you still living at home?
Moved me?
Yeah. You were still...
My father, yeah. All of us were there. Mine was the only guy who was in the Navy yet. I was out of the Army. And everybody there, he bought that house on O'Neill Avenue. That's where Flora came and lived. See,
Flora, when she got married.
before I got married, he lived there. I was earning for a while. I never lived with my parents at all. I never did. The only one that lived with Peter's parents. I lived with them for about 3 weeks. And I said, I paid her a house, I left. And I rented a house in Decoto for $15 a month. There was nothing, no hot water, nothing. And then after that, I went down by the skating used to be across the street. The old house there. I paid $30 a month. I lived there for a year, maybe more. And then this really estate man that I knew, Vernon, he said, I got a house on O'Neill Avenue. It's an old house. You want to come take a look at it? We looked at it. I told my wife, up to you. You want me to buy it? We buy it, stay here or not? No, it's good enough for me. So we put that old house.
Is that one on Berry Avenue?
And when I'm Berry Avenue.
Where you live today?
That's where I rented the house. I bought that house. I bought everything for $7,000. And my parents were, I think it was 45 or something like that a month. And then I went to
Your payment was $45 a month?
45.
Okay.
And then when I went ahead and built a house in the back in 1956, I got a GI loan, and my payments were $85 a month. And I built a house on a GI loan there. And then things were getting tough, so I sketched it out where I could get a Calvin loan. So I got a Calvin loan. My payment was $45 a month. I had payments for 20 years. In 10 years, I paid everything off.
Paid the house in 10 years. Tell us, let's go back to you growing up as a kid. What about some of the parties you used to have with your grandfather and the fish or something? What was that story?
What party?
Where they buried
Where they buried the fish or something? What?
Oh, yeah. Where the village my father come from, that old custom that they bury a sardine. So every year they get a sardine and they go on everybody's crying. Then they had like a little pool fight. And then if you lay down, they give a shot of wine. And my grandfather was the deputy sheriff. The minute they buried that fish, 2 minutes later we're getting the fish, we're playing catch with it.
Now, how old were you when this happened?
I was about 16, 17 years old.
Did you get to drink wine too?
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah.
When's the first time you had a drink?
First time.
How old were you?
I was young when I was a drink. I remember one time my buddy made whiskey, and we went out. I was about 18. I said, well, we got to have something to drink. So I went and got some wine and whiskey, put in the back of the fence. So I had my father sleeping, got it. We went out. And we were so sore it burned my stomach.
That's what you get. What about Pal, your dog Pal? How old were you when you had Pal? And where were you living when you had your dog Pal? Where were you living?
I was somehow rather we had
No, where were you living? In Decoto or Hayward?
Decoto.
Decoto, okay.
That dog in Dakota, nobody had their dogs down. They just floated around all over the place. And we had that dog named Pal. Well, I had a house for him, boards and everything nice. He floated around. So one day he comes in, his leg is dangling. Some guy shot his leg. And there used to be a high patrolman there a block away. And I know that's the guy that shot him.
Why did he shoot him?
I guess he didn't like the dogs floating around. The dogs was going here, visit houses and stuff. So he shot me, boom. Dog comes in, dangling. My father said, well, I can't afford nothing for the bed or nothing like that. He said, we got to get rid of him. And then I said, well, man, if you hold those dogs down, I get it and cut the leg right off. So I was a man hold the dog, I said, hold him tight. So I got him by a block over. I got that, I went, boom! Cut the leg right off.
And what'd the dog do?
Bleed, hollering, took off, blood, hollering, bleeding, licked it. But he stayed around for years, walking on 3 legs.
You didn't know you were a vet, huh?
I thought it was a vet. Yeah, I'll never forget that with him.
What about some of the times when you would go out as a kid? Where would you go?
As a kid, go out.
Yeah.
Well, we went, I used to crash weddings sometimes.
You crashed weddings?
Weddings.
How would you get in?
We just got in. You know, they'd have dancing and stuff. We crash at dancing. We used to go to Gun Up Allen, Pavilion, different places, Holy Ghost, we go dancing. We did it every weekend. We go dancing. That's what we did. And
Who did you used to hang out?
We crashed.
Who did you used to hang out with? Who did you go out with
Most
most?
of the time I hang around with my cousin Henry Page, Henry. He was my same age as me, much different. And we were pretty close together. And he finally died. And his kids just died.
What kind of stuff did you do when you went out? So you went, what about the dance, what about Sweet's Ballroom?
We used to go to Sweet's Ballroom, dancing. We go in the back, we knew the guy, give him 50 cents or something, and we go in the back. They wanted a couple of bucks. So we go in the back, we knew the guy, and they let us in. So we go in the Sweet's Ballroom, get a few dances, see if we could, and get with some of the girls. I knew a lot of the girls just danced there. That was a beautiful dance hall. A lot of named bands were in there, Sammy Kaye, Jimmy Dorsey, Frank Sinatra, the Hang Spots. I seen them all at K-Star, all of them. I said, all of them. I used to go there and see them. Right in the Shan, we go, one time we went, Henry had a Model A, no windshield. There was some, I think it was Sammy Kaye playing there. And we wanted to go, it was rainy that night. So we took over the Model A. No windshield, nothing. Went to the Sweet's Ballroom, parking, So 1, 2, 3, yeah.
Did you get wet?
Wet, plenty wet. And then one time he had a Buick, big Buick, that loads in the middle, and we used to go to Ashland. Even County Road in that thing. We used to go over that thing, all over, the dances and stuff. Halloween, one time when Halloween, we had a bunch of tomatoes in the front. The cop stopped us. Where you going? I don't know. Take these girls to go home and get out of here. They didn't see the tomato in front, they put us in jail, but they didn't see that.
Where'd you get the tomatoes?
We picked them in the field. A lot of fields I used to pick from, we used to throw tomatoes.
At who?
At the car, any place, just throw them.
What about when you would go out and then come home and change clothes and go to work?
And then I worked at the shipyards. First I was just a laborer. And I said, hell, this is not up a name. I went to school for, I think, 6 weeks, so I learned to weld and burn. And I got a job there in the shipyards to make $1.50 an hour. And we used to go, and my day was off on Tuesdays. And we go out Saturday nights. I come home. I just changed clothes and I got to pick a tooth the horn and ready to go to work. And we go in, and I just tell the guy, I'm going to go down the hole here. You want me? Pull the hole. My eyes are burned all day. And we end up at a big wino place in Oakland called Sawdust Trail. We go drink wine, we should go like that. I should be a mute. They did that guy wine and stuff.
You pretend
You
that?
pretended you were a mute?
Huh?
You pretended you were a mute?
Yeah, so then we drink food. And then I took my wife out to go to the show. Come in and sit down, I'm sleeping. I never slept.
How did you meet your wife?
I met her in a blind date. My sister married one day. She said, what are you doing tonight? Saturday night. I said, see, nothing right now. I got another plan. She said, I take this girl named Rosie Rubio out. Okay, son, I'll take her out. What the hell? So she had a date with this little Jutra. I took her and went to Hawaiian Gardens in San Jose. Pretty expensive place, you know. The guy, I think the guy tipped behind me. Tip. I said, get the hell out of here. So anyway, I met her and I took her out. And I stayed at my mother's house. My mother liked her right away. She's a little Spanish. And I took her out. And she got pretty serious. I said, don't get too serious. I don't want to get serious. No, she called me every night. Come over. I had to go over. So, got pretty serious. So one night we went out, Henry and I. I said, oh, you're not going out there, we're staying home. So her and the girlfriend went to Lynn's, my fat at a dance hall in Oakland. So I told her, let's go dancing tonight. I go there, who you think I meet? My wife. I said, man, I'm in trouble.
What'd she say?
Nothing. So what are you doing here? I said, what are you doing here? I said, nothing to do, we came here. So, you know, you should have come, without me. That's a lot. We did.
So when did you first meet her family?
Who?
When did you first meet Mom's family?
After a while, I started taking her out. And the other guy, the brother, Joe Rudy, was pretty good guy. He said, man, you gotta be careful with the real family, they're tough. So I went in the house one time, and my wife said, I want you to meet Pablito. So I go, okay. You know Spanish. So I take her, and then I go in the house. That time, Marion was living there, and Lily,
Oh.
babysitting my wife, used to take care of that girl all the time. Yeah.
What about the brothers? When did you meet them?
Brothers never, I never knew the brothers took a liking to me. And I was taking a Teeter out. I said, how come they call you Teeter? So I was tiny. I was called Teeter. But Johnny and Benny and Drew, Joe, they took a liking to me, I never knew so.
How did you ask her to marry you?
I went over there and talked to her in Spanish. I says, her name is Isabel. Isabel, in Spanish, I said, "Yo quiero casar con tu hija, and I want to marry your daughter." Oh, okay, you have my permission.
And how did you ask Mom? What'd you
I
say?
just told my mom, my mother and father said, I might get married to the little girl right there.
No, but how did you ask Mom? What'd you say to Mom when you said?
I said, gee, I think you and I are going to live together for a while. That you and I get married, okay? So, okay. And so we decided to get married. We got married in May, but see, the war was still going on.
May 26, 1945.
Yeah. So anyway, we decided to get married. Her brother was in the service, one dude was in the hospital, my brother was in the service. We just got married, all the same, come home, get a cup of coffee, and a glass of juice or something, and took off. We ended up at Hotel Diaz-San Jose. Spent one night there. Then from there we went to Yosemite. I was going to stay there 3-4 nights. But it's raining. I told you, let's get the hell out of here. I ain't going to stay here. So we ended up in Sacramento. So we got a room in Sacramento Hotel. And then that dancing, so we went dancing. Who do you think I meet there? My cousin Henry, he was stationed in Sacramento.
Wow.
So we went dancing.
Just like old times.
Yeah. So we went there dancing. And then after 3-4 days, we came home. That was it.
And where'd you first live? When you were first married, where'd you live?
So I lived with my mother-in-law for about 3 weeks, that's all. Then I lived in Decoto. A little shack, $15 a month. No hot water, just had a bedroom and a kitchen, that's all. Had to go to my mother's house, my father, take a shower.
Was it near them? Was it the house where you lived?
Not too far. I lived on 13th Street, and my father and mother lived, I think, 3rd or 4th Street. So I had to go there, take a shower, and then I was along with the firefighter. When the alarm took off, I'd run from the corner, block away, then a fire truck I'd go over.
When did you first become a volunteer fireman?
When I first got out of the Army, Bender was a boss at the mosquito banner. He wanted me to get a job in the mosquitoes. I said, oh, no, I don't want to go and kill mosquitoes. No. So then as time went along, one day he said, you know something? We're going to have a shop. We want somebody to run it. I was saying, I'll take a chance. So I went and ran the shop. And that's what, and then I lived in Decoto, and I took that job in the mosquito banner. And I stayed there 34 years.
But when did you become a volunteer fireman?
The minute I got out of the Army, I got that job in the mosquito banner. And I didn't live in Decoto, I lived in for a while, but I lived in Hayward. He said, I want you to be a volunteer firefighter, day man. I said, okay, so that's what happened. And then they wanted me during the night, they called me, and I would go.
Did you used to fight fires?
I could have fight fires, yeah. I could have.
No, did you fight fires when they called you?
Plenty of fires I fought. Houses, hills, everything. But you know, I could have been a paid man, firefighter, and make more money, pension. But the trouble is when I took that job, I had to work 24 on, 24 off. Now, I would have stayed there and just stayed. Could have been like a fire marshal. And my wife didn't like that, and me going, staying away from her at night. She scared. So I said, no, I won't do this job. So I slept with the mosquito banner. I didn't keep the job in the fire department. They came to the mayor and 2 councilmen come to my house, paid me to take that job. Turn it down. But I would have been better off if I took a job. The pension would have been bigger, but I had 2 choices, either work there or, and my wife was scared to stay at home alone. I said, it's not worth it. So I just stay with the mosquito payment, and that's it. And I had different opportunities, different jobs, higher, more money. And I didn't want to make the change. I wanted to stay. I let them move around. So I stayed there all these years, 34 years.
It's a long time.
Long time.
How old were you when you retired?
I was 59 years old. I was young. They gave us a pretty good package deal to get out. Medical, vision, all that stuff. You know, I told my wife, I think I'm going to get out. And it worked out good because this guy just went into business. I went into business. I figured, hell, it's perfect for me. So that's what I did.